I've been celibate for a while now, and people keep asking me, it's like they wait a couple of months and ask me, am I still celibate? Like I'm gonna just randomly change my mind, and I'm really not going to do that. It's because the trauma of a whole bunch of relationships that I had, but because of what I did for a living, a lot of men assumed that I was promiscuous, and a lot of men went to great lengths to just to get me in bed, and it seems corny, like from my perspective, but I guess if I was a man, I could somehow figure out a way to justify why I would do so many things just to get a woman in bed. There's pros and cons to celibacy. Some people have a difficult time with not having sex. They don't see how they could go so long without having sex. They think they would be starved for it after a whole bunch of time has went by and they haven't had sex. But see, that's not how it works, and any celibate person can tell you that after you've gone without it, you start to just be used to it not being around, and it's not that this big thing, and that's both for men and women. And I tell women, now that I'm celibate, it's easier for me to find a whole bunch of good gentlemen walking around. It's a lot of abstinent and celibate people around. Once you become celibate, you realize this, but when you're not celibate, you think, oh my God, nobody in the world is celibate. But when you become one and you start telling people that that's what you are, you start meeting people that are celibate as well, both male and female. I had a man hit me up on Facebook the other day wanting to holler at me, and I told him, I'm celibate, and he said, well, can you date somebody that isn't celibate? And I said, well, no, I cannot. I can't continuously date a man over a period of time knowing that he's sleeping with somebody else, because the whole purpose of me being celibate is me being able to focus on one person, getting to know who they are as a person, getting to know whether they're a genuine person. And if a man is dating me and he's still sleeping with other women, that means he's not ready for what I'm ready for. Celibacy is not a way to control a man just to get him to do whatever it is that I want him to do. Celibacy is basically my way to figure out whether a man views me or values me the way that I value myself, and the only way I can figure that out is if time goes by and I get to see whether he genuinely has a solid positive feeling towards me. I've been with a man, and the entire time we was in a relationship for over a year. That entire time, the only reason why he was with me was because he enjoyed having sex with me, and that's it. And not once in that entire relationship did he say that out loud. He just pretended that, the entire time he was with me, there were other things that he enjoyed about me. And, that's traumatizing to a woman. I value my body, and a lot of men don't value a woman's body. They use sex as a recreational activity. They go from one girl to one girl to one girl to one girl. They want to fuck every girl in the world. And, because I value my body so much, I need for my equal to value my body as well. So celibacy is a way for me to handle that. It's a major commitment. Celibacy is a major commitment. It's a lot of celebrities out there that are single and celibate, like Terrence Howard, Megan Good. She's engaged now, and her fiance have sworn to celibacy into their wedding night. Jordan Sparks, the Jonas Brothers, Angela Simmons, Reverend Run's daughter, she's still a virgin. More healthy relationships will come out of people being celibate and actually taking the time to get to learn one another and to see if being with that person is something that they want to do. The safest sex is not having sex at all. So when it comes to sexually transmitted infections, you can keep yourself distant from that, being celibate. That's a pro. Can't get pregnant by accident. That's a pro too. One thing many people don't consider about celibacy is that it allows you to be yourself. This way you don't need to worry so much about how you're going to dress, about losing weight, about building muscle, about worrying about what game you going to spit, because you're not trying to impress anyone. And because you're not out on the prowl, this means that you can relax and sink into yourself. Celibacy takes off the pressure and allows you to refocus on what's important. People say, well, I'm scared I'm going to be lonely. I'm scared I'm going to be lonely. No, because You can't be lonely when you enjoy who you alone with. You can't be lonely when you love who you alone with. When you love yourself, I mean, being by yourself is not also bad. If you are celibate, you have a lot less distraction than you normally would if you was in a relationship or if you was having sex. If you got a high sex drive, you can spend a lot of your time having sex. And when you're celibate, all that time that you spent having sex, you spend doing something else, so you become like extremely productive. Then, my main reason was that I wanted to stop having bad sexual experiences. And it wasn't that the sex was bad. It was like when you have sex, you dropping your guard, you being vulnerable in more ways than one. Emotionally, physically, psychologically, allowing somebody to get close to you, to see you naked, physically and emotionally, and you opening yourself up to criticism and disappointment. If you have a one-night stand, for instance, that you perhaps weren't aware that was a one-night stand, then that can be very hurtful. You might find that someone doesn't find you attractive, and that can be a hurtful experience as well, especially after you had sex. In other cases, someone might be forceful and encourage you to do things that you aren't comfortable with, or they might turn out to not be a nice person. There are many situations in which sex can leave a bad taste in your mouth and be very psychologically upsetting, which is actually often what causes people to consider celibacy in the first place. It takes a lot of self-control and a lot of discipline to be celibate, but all you got to do is just not put yourself in a position to be intimate. It's harder once you're dating, but if you're not dating at all and you just keeping busy, celibacy is easy. But when you start dating someone, you can't really do indoor activities. Like, X that out altogether.